we've all seen the outside of the Limited, the XSC, and several other models in the 2026 RAV4. So today we're going to talk about the inside because not a lot has been seen on the inside and how those features work. We're going to make sure that you guys are very comfortable, even an expert, by the time we finish this video. We're going to start on the driver's side. So we have an 8-way adjustable there, and we have memory seats. So you have your door controls. Let's check on the passenger side to see if we have power seats on the passenger side like we did on the 5th generation or 2025 model, which we do, guys. So you have a 6-way adjustable there. We're going to go left to right, okay? Here on the left hand side we have some adjustment for the dash right here. So if we want a dash a little bit dimmer there, we can dim that dash or we can raise it. You have a power back door, which it is a kick sensor as well, guys. So that's something that we didn't see unless we went with a tech package on the previous generation. Down below we have our traditional buttons here. So gas to release, hood release. Here we have our adjustment for our lights and signals and everything. This design here on your signal lights and your headlights, that's very reminiscent of Lexus models that we've seen. So you have your automatic on the outside right there. So we've seen that before. You have your daytime running lights here. You have an off. You have your parking lights. We call them your parking lights, right? You have your automatic, and then you have it all on, guys. So, and then you have your fog lights here, okay? So you have a button for that, and then you have your signal. Now you have your driver attention alert. So that's something that we see in the model. So that's going to help with your traffic jam assist. So we'll talk about that as well. So that's nothing new, right? Here, this is going to be the navigation. This is going to be for your navigation of your now standard 12.3-inch digital cluster. Your digital cluster now in 2026 RAV is now standard at 12.3 in all your models, LE all the way up to your GR RAV. So as we go to the left and right, so this is something we've seen before. We've seen it in three different presets for that. It doesn't show you the presets, however, it does give you options here where you can see different pieces of information here. So that's your lane keep assist right there, as you can see. I'm hitting this button here. So that's your lane keep assist. That's going to turn that on and off. You have your average trip distance right now. Now it's 0.5 because, like I said, it hasn't been driven that much. But the more you drive, the more that's going to populate and show you how you're performing as far as your average miles per gallon. So most of these options, as you're seeing, is giving me a digital speedometer, which is nice. Okay, this is only the digital speedometer and the parking status. And then you have your eco and then your charge, okay, which, you know, you're going to see on this model because it is a hybrid. So anytime you brake, of course, you're going to see charge more so. Your eco is like when you're cruising. And then your power is when you accelerate. So this is going to give you your full usage of the 12.3-inch digital cluster, okay? So we're going to hit this little OK button and we're going to dive into some of the options in the back screen right there. We do have a heads-up display on the Limited model. First time that's been available on the Limited model, but it's a larger display, which is very nice. So I don't know if you guys can see that. There we go, right there. So you can see it there to the right. So right on that pole right there, you can see that. And you can press the OK button and you can dive into there. You can increase the brightness of it, okay? You can go up and down, okay? It's all the way to the highest setting right now, as high as it's gonna go. You can lower it according to your height. So there we go, we're bringing it back up. Now we're gonna go back out and we're gonna go to drive support. So your drive support, you can do a full, which is gonna give you your charge, your eco, and your power. And you'll also see your lane departure on that as well, guys. So it's right in the center. You can see that. So like I said, there we go. That's a little bit better. And I'm sure you guys can see that because I can see it right now in that. So hopefully you guys can see that right there. And as you go down right here, so if you want to go to a standard, see it takes away your charge, eco, and power. And then you can show your minimum, which is just going to be your speed, guys. So your digital speedometer. So you have different speeds and everything that you can do. Now we're going to go back out here and we're going to go back. So your vehicle settings. So you have your power back door. That's where you're going to find that at. So you do have a hands-free, as I mentioned before. You used to have to get a tech package to get the hands-free, but now you have a kick sensor that is standard in the Limited model. You can turn the power back door off altogether. You can power the hands off, or you can adjust it just like in the old RAV there. So It'll go all the way up to 5, all the way down to 1, guys. And then if you see the little figure there, that is a custom setting. Typically, you're gonna do that from the back door. All right, so let's go back out. You have your scheduled maintenance, rear seat reminder. That's the government mandate that you're seeing on a lot of vehicles. And that's just a reminder you, hey, check on those fur babies, check on your babies there, and make sure you're not leaving anything in that back seat, guys. It's more than likely gonna be kind of like the Sienna. It's gonna give you a buzzer volume or whatever to let you know. It's gonna go through certain checks or whatever. But you also see when you get out of the vehicle, you'll see several flashing. It'll beep several times. And it's gonna force you to think, hey, what's going on with my car? Is something wrong with my car? So you're naturally gonna look back at the car to make sure that everything is okay. So that's goal accomplished. We're just going back up to the top. All right, let's go to our settings. So we have our language, our units, meter type. So you can change your meter type, okay? More than likely, going from side to side here, that's changing your meter types and stuff like that. So you'll see that difference in there. But most of your changes are gonna come here in your 12.9-inch infotainment display, which is standard on the Limited, guys. So you cannot get the 10.5 on the Limited. Your upgrade is standard on the Limited model, and also on the XSE. It's a 12.9-inch infotainment display here, and I'll go through that here shortly. This right here, your digital cluster, is going to be a kind of a short tutorial, okay? You have several different options, or you can go back to default, factory default. Okay, let's go back. We're going to go all the way out, and we're going to go up. You're going to have your messages, which is going to be for your maintenance and stuff like that. So every 5,000 miles, you're going to bring in that vehicle for maintenance, just like your normal vehicles. Every 10,000 is going to be your oil changes. Okay, that's your all-wheel drive right there. There's your tire pressure, and there's your drive information as far as your trip distance. Okay, how your vehicle's performing as far as your trip distance. And then there's your audio, and there's your compass, guys. That's your EV driving ratio. We've seen that on the past RAV4s. And there's your average right there. If you want to reset it, press and hold that OK button right there, and that's going to reset it. So that's going to give you your best fuel economy based on the current weather patterns, okay? If it's warmer, then you're going to get better fuel economy because the process to store energy is a little bit faster, okay? So you're basically going to hold that energy and capture that energy a little bit quicker, and you're going to see better fuel economy. On the right-hand side over here, you do have your miss, you have your off, your auto, your low, and then your high. This is actually for your auto right here. So your different intervals for your auto whenever you have it on auto, just like you did on your previous version. Now on the outside here, you'll be able to turn this right here and turn on your back windshield wiper, okay? So that back windshield wiper, there you go. So that does activate that, okay? Press this forward, and that's gonna wash that back window. I'm gonna check to see whether or not you have a backup camera washer. I don't think I saw it when I was in reverse before. I tried this last night, and I don't think I saw it. So maybe it's a little bit more subtle than the other one. You could definitely hear it and see it at the same time whenever you were in reverse. But guys, here's a really cool feature on the RAV4 that you may not know about. So you can activate your wipers just by using your voice command. You can say, hey Toyota, turn on wipers.
Okay.
How about that, guys? How cool is that? Now you don't have to basically turn on your wipers. So if you're not familiar with the car or whatever, you can just say, hey Toyota, and then activate that. You can also use your Toyota to actually activate your heated steering wheel, your heated seats, the fan speed. You have a lot of things that you can do in this infotainment display, which like I said, I'll be going over here shortly. So this right here is going to be for the adjustment for the 12.3-inch digital cluster. And then this right here on this side is going to be for your adaptive cruise control. So for your adaptive, you have 3 different settings this year. You have an adaptive cruise control, which we've seen before. You have an eco setting that's going to help you optimize your gas mileage while using your adaptive cruise control. And then you have your constant, guys. So you have your constant, same thing. It activates at 30 miles per hour. Anything below that is going to relinquish control to you. But so those are pretty cool, guys. So pretty cool features. So now for the big stuff, we're going to jump over here because this is where the most changes happen. Arena is a new software for the RAV4. So you physically have a home button, as you can see. You have your Drive Connect right here. You have your music. You have your Bluetooth, and then you have your settings right here. And you're going to see a lot of different things in the settings right here. Now, here's obvious right here. Let's address the obvious, guys. It does have heated seats, but it has ventilated seats too, but you can't see it until you tap that button right there. Once you tap the button, it comes up right here, and then you can select between your heated seats, your ventilated seats, and the automatic as well. So let's dive in. So we're going to get out of that. So we're not going to remove that. Don't remove that. So go here. So we're gonna start with the temperature right here. The temperature, so like in the old Avalons, you can raise it up and down. So it is sort of, you can touch the screen here and roll it up and down. Or like I said, you can just say, hey, Toyota, change temperature to 72 degrees. And it will change it, okay? So you can do that for the passenger side. And it can tell the trajectory that it's coming from. So therefore, it can change the passengers. It can change the passenger side versus the driver's side. So that's pretty cool. So your heated steering wheel is going to be standard on the limited model. Once you go to the XSE, you're going to have to get a weather package to get the de-icer and also the heated steering wheel. But on the limited model, it is standard. So you have an automatic setting right here, just like you did on your previous RAV4s. If you adjust the temperature, then it's going to fluctuate that fan speed up and down. You see it just drop. You can hear it just dropped. And here, so you can adjust your fan speed here. You can turn it on and off. Okay, you can run your finger here across, makes it nice and easy. Or you can just go to max, and that's going to max it out and raise that fan speed. So that's pretty cool. Here, so just like in the heated seats, once you press this this directional button here, it pops up on the screen here, and you can adjust where you want that airflow to go here. So that's going to be your recirculation of your air. You have your sync right here because it is a dual zone climate control, guys. So you have your sync right here, what you can sync. Now here's what's pretty cool. You have your front area right here where you can control your front heated seats, or you can go to the back. Look at this right here, guys. So you can turn your heated seats on. So right here, so let me hit this button, you can see it. So see right here, it even highlights it in red, guys, indicating that the heated seats are on the driver back side. And if I want to go to the this other side here, I can go to the passenger back side and I can turn that heated seat on. Now that one is in red, guys. So that's pretty cool. If I want to go back to the front view, I can just tap this right here and that'll go back to the front view. Now it gives me all the controls that I can control here in the front, guys. So that's pretty cool. So let's turn those off. We're going to turn those back off because we're not back there in the back. There we go. So that's that. All right. So let's go back to the front. And so everything, I've covered everything down here. So this right here, of course, that's going to be for your temperature control. So if I want to go up, I can go up. That's for my front defrost. That's my volume control, of course. That's my off. If I want to turn the screen off right here, the audio, I can turn it on and off. That's my, let me turn that down here. So that's my rear defrost, and then that's my passenger side, whether or not I want to go down in temperature or up in temperature, okay? Now, as far as the screen right here, we're gonna cover this side right here now. So this right here is gonna be for your cloud-based navigation, okay? So that's not much to cover on that. So once we do that, we're gonna be very limited as to what we can do on here because you do have to sign into profiles. We can't go but so far, but I will go a little bit further once we get our physical demo here at the dealership. And then I can go a little bit further and show you guys some other really cool features. So right here, this is gonna be for your phone here. So that's where you'll be able to see your phone at. You'll see your contacts and things like that. Let's go up here first before we dive into the stuff. So we have a guest setting. So in the guest setting, it will tell you once I go to the recorder, the dash cam, that you cannot access the dash cam in guest mode. So you physically have to have a profile, guys. So I'm not gonna be able to show you the dash cam right now, but like I said, that's in another video. I'll be able to show you that. So all your devices is gonna be here. Okay, if you need roadside assistance, of course you click that button right there. So it makes everything very easy for you in the new 2026 RAV4. So that's gonna be your Wi-Fi or your hotspot there. This right here is gonna be for your PDA. So this is pretty cool, guys. So if you look at this screen right here, this particular display right here. So if you look at this display right here, guys, days are gone, you don't have to guess what a particular feature does. So if your salesperson doesn't tell you, guess what? You can go through a tutorial and it will tell you exactly what that does, and you can turn it on and off. Check this out. So if I tap that little gear right there, check this out. It tells me how my lane departure works. Even gives me a sort of a automated sort of visual of how that works, guys, if you go outside of your lane. So that's pretty cool. And you can configure it or not. If you tap configure here, you can go up and it tells you more information about it. As far as if it gives you vibration, you can change it between a vibration or either audible, things like that. So you have your lane departure, your pre-collision, front cross traffic alert. So you have that. You have your blind spot monitoring and your safe exit assist. Now 4.0, it's no different than 3.0. It sharpens those sensors and makes those more interactive, guys. So that's what 4.0 is. You have The same things that you do in 3.0. I haven't seen anything that's different, but that is 4.0. Your sensors are more acute. They're basically giving you a little bit more feedback and a lot sooner and a lot quicker. All right. So right here, so that's your drive recorder. Like I said, cannot use the drive recorder while in guest mode. So that's what I was telling you guys before. So you have to physically sign into your profile and stuff like that. You go to settings, and then you'll be able to do that and get out of that by using your actual profiles and stuff like that, guys. So like I said, that's in a later video. Right here, if you want to set up your Apple CarPlay, that's that. That's your Android Auto right there. Okay. You can change the brightness of the screen here. You can go left and right and control the brightness of your display. You have an automatic, so whenever you turn on your lights here, it automatically dims. That's going to happen more so at night. So right now you're not going to be able to tell the difference. Like I said, not unless you can physically just roll this down here. So that's all that's doing, is just lowering that. If you want the screen, like I said, a little bit lighter than bright. So a little bit darker than bright, excuse me. So right here, so you have your night setting right here. So that's going to be your night setting. You have your day setting, and then you have your off right here, guys. So you can turn that off. If you want to turn it back on, just tap that right there and it turns it right back on, and we go right back up here to access that screen I was on. So that is that screen, guys. So that's pretty cool. Now let's dive into right here, okay? So we're going to go into our settings right here. So we have our profile. So this is where you're going to see your profiles at right here, guys. So you see those once you set those up. Vehicle settings here. So you have your light settings. So interior lighting, as far as the timer, the headlights, how soon those go out after you close the door. That's what that timer is right there. So you can control 30 seconds, 7.5. You have your different intervals and stuff like that, okay? So you have your seat settings, okay? You have your reseat reminder. You even have an easy exit, guys. So you've seen that before, like on the Sequoia and stuff like that. Whenever you get out of your vehicle, that seat is going to slide back. Just gives you a little bit more room to actually to exit the vehicle, guys. So that's what it is. And you have a full, you have a partial, and then you have an off. All right. So go back out. You have your door lock settings, so you can enable your power back door. Okay. So that's another way you can enable that power back door. So we saw it over here. But now you're also seeing it over here. Okay. You can control your height. So that's pretty cool that you can control it here. And it may be a little bit easier for you to control it here because, like I said, you can control it there. And like I said, you don't even have an OK button. You can just set it right there and it automatically saves, guys. So we go back out to 5. Locks right here. When you go from park into drive, then it's going to lock your doors. And once you go back into park, it should unlock your doors if you want that. If you don't want that, you can choose to actually keep the doors locked. So you have your keys right here. So you have, your hazard lights and stuff like that. Hazard light flash confirmation. Whenever you lock the vehicle, that's going to flash those lights. You even have your lock sound, so you can control the volume of that. You have your drive performance. So this right here, this screen allows you, based on your commute days, you can boost your fuel efficiency. That's crazy. If it's going to be all days, you want to select all days, but you can select those days. It's going to optimize your battery usage during long stops, and that's going to save you fuel. So this is a really cool feature right here that allows you to maximize your fuel economy, guys. So this is amazing. So your drive assist right here, you have your drive support, which we went over before. So you can click those, you can turn those on and off, and it shows you what your PDA is, what it does. So you can turn that on. You can go in right here. You have your different levels right here. You have your steering assist, you have your deceleration assist, and you can turn that to a medium, high, or either low, guys. So let's go back out, and you have your park assist. Those are your sensors and stuff like that. You have your sensors. So whenever you're backing up, that's going to give you that little beeping the closer you get. Your parking brakes right here. So you sense parking braking. They give you rear cross traffic alert, rear camera detection, and also your advanced parking, okay? That's your camera and your advanced parking, okay? You can change some of the settings on that. As far as your park assist sensor 3D display, you can turn that on and off. I'm not sure how that looks, but you can turn that on and off, guys. So those are things that you guys can play with. Software update, don't have to worry about that. There's your drive recorder right there. Now with your drive recorder, that's something new on the RAV4s. So what you're gonna do is you can either use your voice command right here to say activate drive recorder, or you can do that manually, okay? We'll turn that on. Like I said, I mentioned before, you can't use that in gas mode. You have to physically have a profile in that, guys. So you have your library right here. You can do your manual recordings, driving incidents. So you have saved up to 5 clips recorded during incidents. So if there's, based on the G-forces, from an impact or anything like that, it's automatically going to record, guys. Right in here is where you can download those clips right there, guys. So, and it has a 1 minute continuous loop there that you're always getting on this vehicle. And that goes up to 90 clips. And after that 90th clip, it's going to start to rewrite. Okay, but you do have 90 clips, and they're typically 1 minute long. And like I said, there's going to start to rewrite. You have your preferences here, where you can sort of change the storage, looks like. So that's your automatic sort of storage there, your manual, from your manual clips. You have a manual overwrite, and then you have your incident sensitivity. So your sensitivity is based on if it's a light tap, if it has to be pretty significant. You know, I'm pretty sure that's what that is, okay? But it's set to normal. That's how it's set. So once you have that activated, you can change that setting. And I can't really tell that because, like I said, you can't do that in guest mode. But I did want to give you guys a tutorial on this. So that's pretty cool. You have your Wi-Fi hotspot. Now, here's what's different about the 2026 RAV4. In the 2026 RAV4, instead of having 3 gigs or 30 days, you're gonna have 30 days unlimited. That's per Toyota, okay? This is what I got from Toyota. So it's gonna be unlimited, guys, for those 30 days, okay? You have your sound and your media. You even have an equalizer here. Look at that. You have an equalizer. So this is different here. So if I want to go up and down and change that sound, I can do that. That's my centering of my speakers. Okay, that's my different sources and everything. My media art. So it's going to show you, you know, the art on the album. This is the same thing that we've been seeing on the 2025 RAV4, the 5th generation, guys. So a lot of things there. So you can control the contrast of your backup camera, also your display, which is this here. So you can change that. Then you have your general right here, okay? You have your volume. You can change the system volume, your driver assist, your navigation guidance volume. So you can change those individually. They don't have to be all the same, guys. So that's pretty cool. And it's automatic sound leveling based on the volume, based on the noise outside. That's going to change that volume. So that's something we've also seen on several other vehicles before. I think the RAV had that, but I've definitely seen this before, guys. Accessibility, as far as whether or not the screen beeps or not. So if you don't want the screen to beep or whatever, see how it doesn't beep now? So turn it back on, and now I'm back to the beeping. So if that annoys you, then you can turn it off. Time and date, so you can change that as well. So let's go up here. So let's go back to home. Look at that, guys. Nope. Yep, there we go. So same thing as the previous RAV, guys. You just have to take an extra step. So click this here, tap your time, and there you go. You're right back at that screen we were at before, where you can change your daylight savings time and everything. So all this is really cool. Everything's in a spot. You just have to find it. And then you have your languaging units, whether or not it's English, French, Spanish, things like that. So that's a different screen as well. So looks like everything has a second way to access that, whether or not it's here or either there. So a lot of options, guys. Now, that's a majority of that right there. So it's a lot in this infotainment display, guys. So once you get your RAV4, your 2026 RAV4, a lot of this stuff is going to apply, but some of it may not apply because, like I said, this is a limited model. So it's going to have some features that you might not have on maybe like the LE, the XLE Premium, things like that. So, of course, your hazard lights, you have your modes right here. So it pops up on the screen. It pops up here, but it also pops up on the screen. You have a normal mode, you have an eco mode, and you have a sport mode, and then you have a custom mode. So if you can configure that, you can change the way the powertrain. So if you want that a little bit sportier, you can do that. Steering, keep it at a normal or not. And then your air conditioning. We can maximize our commute or our fuel economy while still cooling that vehicle off or heating that vehicle up. So down here we have our EV mode. So EV mode, this was in the hybrid models on the 5th generation as well. So as long as you keep it below 25 miles per hour, then you can basically drive around in your EV mode as long as you have sufficient charge on the battery, guys. And that's going to be dictated by the charge on the battery itself. So I have not seen a energy monitor mode or whatever, but I'm going to be looking for that, and I'll show you guys that in future videos. Okay. Now the Limited, you may notice you have dual chargers right here. The Limited is the only one that has dual chargers, guys. No other model in the 2026 RAV4 has dual wireless chargers here. Only in the Limited. You go with any other model, This is going to be your charger. That's going to be extra storage. And then you have extra storage down here as well. Now, because you have a hybrid vehicle, you have a trail mode, which is going to enable your dynamic torque vectoring, okay? That means one tire slips, it's going to apply the brakes and transfer to whatever wheel that actually has traction. So that's what that is for. Snow mode, that's going to lower the torque on your wheels, okay? Doesn't promote as much spinning of the tires. So we could have used that this past weekend, or the, you know, when we got the snow or whatever. And then you have your normal mode. If you want to go back to your normal, that's going to reset you back to normal, guys. So down here we have 45 watt USB-C chargers right here. Panoramic view monitor right here, which is standard on a lot of models. The Limited and the XSE is going to be standard, guys. Now, if you look down below right here, matter of fact, you know what? Let me back up here. So here's something pretty cool whenever you activate your panoramic view monitor, guys. So you can take this right here and you can move it around here as you need here. And it gives you a sort of a transparent view where you can sort of see what's going on around the vehicle. That's pretty cool. So just move your finger around here. Now, just like in the other one, if I turn the steering wheel, if I'm backing up, look at this, guys. So if I'm backing up, it shows you the projected direction of the wheels right here. So you see it on the left? So that's pretty cool. Now, I can turn that on and off, so it's not active at 7 miles per hour and below. We can change our view right here, so just tap that right there. So if we want it more out in front of us, we can do that. Some of the car, and then back out to the in front of us, okay? So we can change that view. Whatever view we want to see, we can change that, guys, okay? Let's see what's under this setting right here, okay? So panoramic view monitor. So this just takes me back to the screen where I was at before, where I can control how the panoramic view monitor looks, whether or not it's more of a 3D display, the camera auto function off. So I have to see what those do or whatever, guys. But like I said, you have your sensitivity. Look at that. You have your standard sensitivity, or you have to be really near it, guys. So look at that, the distance. So you can change that. So if it's a little bit too sensitive for you, you can change that. So that's a lot of cool stuff right there. The advanced parking is standard on the RAV4 Limited model. It's an option on the XSE model. You have to get the XSE driver's assist package to get that, and you get your shift by wire right here, which I'll cover here for you shortly, guys. On the right hand side right here, that's your downhill assist. Downhill assist is something we saw on the Woodland. So if you guys will follow my video, the Woodland, whenever you're using your downhill assist, if you're going down a hill, it uses the brakes to control the descent of the vehicle. So that's pretty cool. Just let off the accelerator and it's a nice controlled descent. So that's a really cool feature if you're on a steep hill. And then you have your traction control. Works with the ABS brakes. Applies the brakes to the wheel that is actually slipping. Brings it back into sync with the tire that's spinning at normal speed. But it also cuts the engine horsepower to that wheel that may be spinning, okay? Now down here, this is new right here. This is just shift by wire. This is standard in the Limited. Like I said, it's optional in the XSE, guys. So to shift, the shift by wire is just you're gonna push up, put your foot on the brakes, shift up for neutral, push up again. That's gonna be for your reverse, okay? So that's how you do it. So literally push down once, push down again, and that's your drive. And then you have your lower gear right there, okay? So we've all seen that before. And we're gonna put, now if I wanna shut it off, just like in the models that actually have the electronic shifter, I can either hit the power here, that's gonna put it in park, or either I can hit the park here, and that's gonna put it in park, guys. Some of you guys may love it, some of you guys may not love it, but it is what it is. This is the shift by wire, standard in the Limited, optional in the XSE model, okay? And then we've seen these guys before. So usual characters, right? So that's your electronic parking brakes, and that's your brake hold. That's gonna hold your brakes in place. Whether or not you're the ATM, drive-through, maybe you're in stop and go traffic, that's going to be a feature that you're going to want to be able to use. So basically, but your seatbelt does have to be on. So let's press it and see. See, your seatbelt has to be on, door has to be closed. So those two things have to be satisfied. So it's in park right here. So this piece can come out right here. So that's the piece that can come out. Gives you a little bit more storage right in here. So if you want to put some stuff that's a little bit larger in here, you can put it right in here. So let's put that back. This piece right here is pretty cool, guys. Let me show you this. So this right here, so we've seen this at Lexus before, where it flips from the driver's side to the passenger, from the passenger to the driver. But check this out. We can take this off. So if you want to use this for like a work top or anything like that, guys, this is a sort of a hard top here, so you can weigh stuff on it. It's not something where you can charge. I hear a lot of people saying, well, this is chargeable. No, it's not. This is your only wireless charging right here, guys. So this right here is like a work top right here. You can even take it off. So if you need something hard to write on, hey, you're looking for something to write on, pull it off right here, pull it up to you, and now I can write on it right here, guys. So it's something a little bit easy to write on. So you hear that? That's hard, okay? Now we're gonna flip it back over. We're gonna put it back in here. Now you notice whenever it's off, it shows you this little orange right in here. You see that right in there? Now once that's satisfied, once you get it back in there, you see that goes away. So it shows you there. So just in case you're wondering, but we're going to be doing a lot more on the inside of this vehicle here. Just want to show you why I'm doing this. You do have a digital rearview mirror. So back when the 5th generation first came out, the very first year in 19, you had a digital rearview mirror, but after then they put it as part of a like a standalone option, and it's part of like a tech package. Okay, your panel roof is standard, so you don't have to get that as a standalone option. That is standard in the limited model. It's an option in the XSE model, guys, and that's even an option in the XLE Premium. How about that? So a lot of features there inside of this vehicle, but I hope this helps, guys. So I went over the infotainment display, but if you guys have any questions, let me know. If you find this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And like I said, give me some ideas. What would you like to see on the 2026 RAV4? What features would you like to see? Like I said, hopefully it helps. You can find me right here on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads right here, Andre Drives, guys.